schedule that enables us to have a clear channels of communications between the top management and also the managers and also the team. So we can ensure we have highly effective collaborations between top management, manager, and also people on the ground. This webinar will focus on the direct and implied effects on the pandemic on recruitment and talent management. This is very important, how those practices will evolve, because we have a different business model right now, so everything will be changed. And what business leaders need to anticipate, including me, when building their own team in the post-pandemic era, they need to understand all of those requirements. To give useful insights on these issues, first we have Ibu Dianing Lupitasari. It is an honor to have you, Bu Dianing, a people strategy lead from Makari, who will discuss about reimagining recruitment and talent management in post-pandemic Indonesia, a perspective from the tech industry. Nah, this is important because tech is very sexy lately in 2022 and in 2021. So we need to hear from Ibu Diani what is all about related with this recruitment and talent management in the tech industry in post-pandemic era. And then we also have Pak Teddy Willy. It is an honor to have you, the Cekindo Semarang branch manager. We will talk about strategy operational workforce post-pandemic in Indonesia. So it is also important for us. We are not only sharing about what our knowledge, but Bu Dianing and also Pak Teddy also already implement the knowledge and also theory. So this is very maybe we can have like insightful discussion with both of these speakers related with the recruitment, talent management in the post-pandemic. We'd love to make this webinar as relevant as possible for our participants. So not only a theory and also an implementation. So please vote in the polls if there is any polls over the webinar, and prepare the Q&A questions. We will have prizes for the 3 lucky participants who can win by asking good questions during the Q&A session. Now, without further ado, let's pass it on to our speakers. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful webinar session. Back to you, Della. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Fitvan, for the delightful opening remarks. As Pak Fitvan mentioned, I'd like to encourage you to prepare questions because we will have 3 door prizes for participants who ask interesting questions. So don't hesitate to put your questions directly into the Q&A chat box during the presentation. Okay, before we start our first presentation, I would like to ask you to all participate in the polls. Kindly scan the barcode on your screen to join the polls. And the question is, which work setup would you choose? The first option, 100% work from home, from office, and then or 100% work from home, or hybrid work setup. I will give you 60 seconds to choose or to vote. Okay, Alisa, you can join the polling by scanning the barcode on the screen, so we can collect all of the answers together. Okay, I will close this polling session. Is there any result can be shown, Dira? Okay, during this pandemic situation, many of offices in Indonesia applied not only working from home, but also working from the office, because mostly the employees already got their vaccine, Even like some of them already got like the booster. So hopefully we can start slowly going back to normal situation. However, in this polling, we will know like how much. Okay, yeah, many of the participants are prefer a hybrid workout setup, which is like the combination of work from office and work from home. This is very interesting because this new pandemic bringing like new habits to the employees, also for the companies. Okay, thank you for the participation for the polling. Now, I'd like to introduce to our next speaker, Ibu Dianing Lupitasari. Ibu Dianing studied psychology in the United States with a bachelor's degree in research and experimental psychology from University of California, Davis, and a master's of arts in industrial and organizational psychology from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. With experience from companies like Tokopedia and ConocoPhillips, in addition to her tenure at Macquarie, Ibu Dianing is quite accomplished when it comes to talent acquisition and recruitment. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Ibu Dianing Lupitasari. We are delighted to have you today, Ibu, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Della. Can you hear me well before I
Yeah,
start?
it's very clear.
Okay. Thank you so much, Della, Pak Fitvan, and then everyone in Jakindo for having me here. It's been an honor for me to join this event with Jakindo. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you are having an amazing week. We almost made it, guys. It's almost Friday, so let's go through it. Okay, so I think if Jakindo team can help me to display my presentation. All right. I think just a little bit about me before I start sharing my perspective. My name is Dianing Lupitasari. You can always call me Lupita. I think you can pass on to the next slide. Yeah, I am here with Macquarie. I am working as a people strategy lead at Macquarie. Just a little bit background on the company. Our company started back in, I think, 2013. We were back in 2013, we were 3 different entities. So we have Journal, we have Talenta, and then we have another company called Slicker at the beginning. And then we went through a lot of merchant acquisitions that we are now called Macquarie with different products here. Now we have at least 5 products. We have Talenta, Klik Pajak, Journal, Contact, and Macquarie Flex. Essentially, we are a SaaS company. It's a software as a service where we develop platforms, we develop applications. The aim is to help businesses to basically automate every administrative matters when it comes to HR, accounting, tax, and maybe CRM if you guys need it too. So I think I'll go just a little bit more about the products. With Talenta, it's our HRIS. It's our human resource information system where you basically can go in and take care of all of your administrative HR, starting from payroll. You can file your leave, file your attendance, absence. You can take a look at your payslip. Basically, you can do anything. You can take a look at who's in the organization, who to contact to when it comes to like different matters. You can go to Talenta. And then with Klik Pajak, this is more for tax. So if I think these days are tax season in Indonesia, I'm pretty sure. So if you're filing tax, whether it's corporate or personal, you can do it from our platform called Klik Pajak since we're already affiliated with the government. Then we have Journal. Journal is our accounting products. This is basically where we work with a lot of small businesses, large enterprises as well, to basically help them with their accounting stuffs. So we generate lots of invoices, billings. We can do we generate a lot of journals, ledgers, and then we can also help with the inventory as well. And then Contact is our newest products. We actually merged with this company back in June 2021. This is where the CRM comes in. So if you have a business and then you need a platform where your customer services can chat with the client, or you need a chat bot, you can definitely do it from our platform, or we can integrate with WhatsApp Business as well. Lastly, we have Macquarie Flex. This is actually our add-ons product. So basically, we offer flexible benefits for clients. So if you use Makari Flex, you can basically allow your employees to design their own benefit. Say, I think I'll explain it later on as well. But if right now you have, let's say, a certain amount for insurance, and you have a certain amount for gym classes, etc., etc. With Makari Flex, you basically just have like one budget, and then you can allocate it according to you guys. So say I want to allocate like 10% to insurance, another 20% for health, another 30% dental, etc., etc. That's entirely up to you. That's what the purpose of Makari Flex or flexible benefit is. I think that's with the company. If you wanted to know more about my personal background, you can always check out my LinkedIn. I spent about 8 years in the US. Started with majoring in psychology and clinical and experimental research. I think Della also has mentioned that. And then I continued with doing my master's in industrial and organizational psychology. I started at Makari back in 2019 as a talent acquisition. So I worked as a talent acquisition for almost 2 years. I handled a lot of different positions, whether it's technology, non-technology. I've done it. And then during the pandemic, we see the need to a lot of transformations, especially within HR, which is why I was then, I was then assigned to this position. This is actually a new team at Makari. We are basically working a lot on innovations, transformations, change management, any new business process, any new procedures that we are implementing to our team or to the company as a whole, that falls under my team. So I think that's a little bit about me. But okay, back up to the topic. Why am I here? Definitely, I'm going to talk about recruitment and talent management in post-pandemic, especially in Indonesia. I will basically share my perspective from the tech industry. Please feel free, you guys, if you have any other perspective. I know we all come from different industries here, and my experience may not apply to yours, definitely. So if you want to share, please feel free. We can talk more during the Q&A session. All right, we can move on to the next slide. So just some quick facts regarding what recruitment looks like post COVID-19. I think like at the beginning of the pandemic, we as an employers, we don't really have time to think a lot about it, right? It all happened like very quick. Like the cases numbers suddenly jumped very high, and then we were forced to like as described in here, the largest work from home experiment ever conducted. I think that's like the best definition that one can exploit, what can provide. To be very honest, Makari, we don't really relate with this. As a company, we already implemented the work from home option even before the pandemic. So me personally, I haven't gone to the office from the end of 2019, I guess. So at the beginning of 2020, when the cases surged, I was already at home. I was already never coming to the office. But I think part of the company also, we have like some positions that they really need to be offline. Like they really need to be in the office. For example, like commercial position, sales, telemarketing, partnerships, people who meet with the clients. They're usually in the office every single day. So they're forced to, within one day, to just switch into work from home setting. And then the second fact is that up to 25% or more workers who are working from home right now they need to change occupations. Now, I have seen this firsthand as well, not necessarily changing the occupations, but also changing their job description, actually. Although it's not a lot when it comes to Makari, because we're a tech company. Everyone basically we work with like the work from home situation. It entirely works for us because right now we have already implemented it 100%. But then several positions, say I think the one that I can think of like really quickly is the front desk position. We initially have those positions at Makari, and then once the work from home is implemented like 100%, there's really no need for them to be there anymore. Like who comes to the office nowadays? Like no one, right? So I see a lot of those in the front desk. We ended up like changing their job description. Like they now help the people operation team to help with the onboarding new employees. So they contact new employees. They they find out what they need, and then they find out they gather all like the documents needed. So basically, they are changing their job description in order for them to stay in the company. With like janitors and anything, you need to cut a lot of them because there's really no need to have like a lot of janitors when not a lot of people are coming to the office anyway. All right, and then the third fact is around the 70% of full-time employees in the US are working from home during the COVID pandemic. And then what's more, even after the pandemic is over, half of them will seek jobs that offer remote work. Now, some of them are also willing to take a pay cut over 10% if they can work remotely some of the time. Now, I have seen this firsthand as well, guys. This is real. I think for a lot of candidates that I have encountered, I have seen not only like they're willing to get a pay cut over 10%, so I have seen people who are willing to get a pay cut way over 10%. So I think I have offered someone like a 30% decrease in their salary just because they wanted to work remotely. I think this is caused by like different different reasons. I think one of them could be safety. I think a lot of people who are willing to do this are the people who are currently or previously not working in a work from home situation during the COVID pandemic. So they're actually forced to go into the office, and they're scared to go into the office because like the risk for you to get infected at the time, especially during like the Delta type, I think is very high, right? And then people are scared. They're willing to do basically anything in order for them to be able to work from home. I think that's one of the most common reasons that I've encountered. And then the second one is the company that initially implement 100% remote working is now switching back into the office. Now, with that setting as well, I've seen a lot of candidates that are looking for a new company which still implement 100% remote working or work from home situation because they've already experienced it, right? Because they have, they have now they know how it feels to work from home. Now they know how it feels to stay close to your kids, stay close probably to your husband or wife during the time like you're working. Now that they have experienced it, I think they are really looking to have experience it for a longer time, which leads to why they're willing to have a pay cut over or maybe way over 10%. I think I know like right now Check-Indo is implementing, I think last time I spoke with Pak Teddy, Check-Indo is implementing a work from office setting, but I think we can talk more about it later during the Q&A session. All right, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, now as employers, I think this is the interesting part. Like now what? Okay, now that we know most of the candidates or like most of the talents are preferring those situations, either hybrid or either full remote. What do we do? Like, do we make amends to our current policies? Do we make changes? What do we do? So in this, I think in this session, we'll just go over the general definition of a distributed workforce, which I believe Pak Fitvan has already mentioned it earlier. And then I think I'll just continue it with the benefits and the challenges, and then also expanding the team by using international recruitment. I think that's one of the things as well that the Check-Indo team has asked me to focus on. I think if some of you guys are working with Check-Indo as well, either to hire candidates from Indonesia to join your company or vice versa. Then lastly is how to manage your remote talent effectively. This will be a pure sharing session as this is still a challenge for us at Makari. So maybe if you guys also want to share insights, that will be cool as well. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, I think as Pak Fitvan has mentioned, so a distributed workforce is a situation or a workforce in which the employees are located in multiple different locations. I think pre-pandemic, this looks a bit different from post-pandemic. So pre-pandemic, basically you have a physical office, and then maybe several employees are located or assigned at different. If you have like several branches, or maybe like if you have multiple locations in the company, that's called a distributed workforce. Now, post-pandemic, what does it look like? I think really a lot of companies who implemented this type of distributed workforce post-pandemic, it really involved a lot of remote working. So either you have a physical company, and then your employees are located, in their own locations, essentially at their home, or they're working 100% offline or 100% remotely. Okay. Next. All right. So what's the benefit of having a distributed workforce? Whether it's like I said at the beginning, like the pre-pandemic, what it looks like if you're working still offline or on-site, but just in a different location, or post-pandemic where it involves a lot of, remote working. The first one is definitely the benefit is market expansion, which I think is why you guys are working with Chekindo a lot, is to expand your market into Indonesia and to hire more talent to join the company and to represent your company in Indonesia, right? So I think the same case with Makari. We have a national expansion team where they are basically located in several different cities that don't have a physical office. So we only have a physical office, I think, for Jakarta, Bandung, Medan, and Surabaya. But for the expansion, we are expanding into a lot more cities. And then what happens with those employees who are assigned in there? They work from home, so they're located in. We don't have a physical office for them, but we still employ them. Why don't we just, if you ask a question, why don't we just hire someone who's located or whose proximity is near to our head office, and then we just assign them to the city? I think this is where the benefit comes in. If you are doing a market expansion, it's a lot more beneficial for you to hire someone who is already familiar with the location that you're hiring for, or that you are wanted to expand. They know what the market looks like. They know what people like. They know what people don't like. They know what the preference look like. So it's a lot better. It's a lot more beneficial for you to understand what you need to do in your business. You can get a lot of insights from these individuals. You can get a lot of feedback on what to man in your products in order to meet the needs of the market. So that's why having a distributed workforce is really, really beneficial if you're doing a market expansion. It's also cost and time effective, especially now. I think I can share this from the perspective at Makari. I think we previously have two offices. We have the head office and then the commercial office. So this is so we have one specific location for sales, telemarketing, partnership, basically anyone who's in touch with the client directly. So if the client has any issue, they can always go there and meet our team. Now that we are implementing the remote working or like the work from home setting, we no longer feel the need to have the commercial office. So we basically terminated our contract with them, and now we only have one head office. So this is already like we already save costs in terms of like office space. Then for the employees, they don't need to spend money for like commuting, and then no allowance. I think this depends on the company. I think with Makari we still give allowance, but for other companies they stop giving a lunch or like meal allowance as well, because like they're working from home. And then another example would be electricity, of course, because you're not using as much energy because not a lot of people are in the office. So that's a lot of money saved, guys. And then if we talk about like a bigger talent pool, you're comparing when you're looking for a candidate, right? Previously, I think we focus more on which candidate is available within your proximity. Okay, so we're looking at who's available compared to like what skill they have. Now that if we are implementing a distributed workforce, especially work from home, we can definitely focus on the skill that we want the employees to have. So I want skill X, I want skill XYZ, I want skill ABC. Who has it? It doesn't matter where they are. We can still employ them. But then if we're still focusing on the proximity, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. I mean, you may find it may take you a longer time, or it may be a little bit difficult. But if you are looking at the bigger picture, having a bigger talent pool will help you in find the talent that you really need, instead of like, okay, this is the group of people that are available. I think I'll just choose the one that that's the closest to what I need. That could be ideal, but it's a lot more ideal to have like a bigger talent pool and find what really meets your expectations. Okay. The fourth one, work-life balance. This could be very tricky, guys. I think a lot of time, I mean, when executed properly, this could promote a work-life balance, definitely, because you find a way to work around life when you are at home. But then, if this is not executed properly, you can look to the right. It can lead to longer working hours or overworking. I think a lot of us have been familiar with this joke that okay, we offer flexible working hours, guys, but then yeah, the clock in is flexible, and then the clock out is very flexible as well. You can clock out at 2 a.m. in the morning. You can clock out at 12 a.m. in the morning. That's the case, right? Okay, that's when this remote working is not implemented properly. So you need to be able to implement this like very carefully in order for you to maintain the work-life balance. Otherwise, it's gonna be a lot of stress, cause a lot of burnout, mainly to depression, anxiety attacks. I'll talk about it later on. Lastly, definitely less office politics. You don't really meet with people. You only talk to them. I mean, we're minimizing gossiping, right? We talk to them only based on like what's relevant. We meet to discuss work. So that's definitely been very helpful, at least for us here at Makari. Now that we talk about the benefits. Let's talk about the challenges as well. I think the distributed workforce comes with a lot of challenges as well. The first one is definitely decreased effectiveness in a lot of interactions that require face-to-face interactions. This includes negotiations, business decisions, brainstorming, sensitive feedback, onboarding new employees. Right now, when it comes to like negotiations, say if in Makari, the one that does the negotiations mostly is sales, right? So if it's not like super critical, like we usually call it PPKM, yeah. If it's not like super critical announcement from the government that we need to hold all office activities, they usually still meet with the client on site. And then also like making business decisions. Our management team, they usually have a monthly management meeting. That is face to face. That's offline because it's just you just communicate better, right? With the this remote situation, you don't really see their face. You just assume what they're saying. You may misunderstand. You may misheard. That can lead to difficulties when understanding each other. So they find it a lot more. They find the process a lot more effective and efficient when you actually meet, because you don't really go back and forth with because with the remote you go back and forth, right? Okay, I'll need to discuss with my team, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I think if you meet, then you can really brainstorm and you can make decision on the spot. Um, Providing feedback has also been a lot of challenges here at Makari. I think the way we operate or navigate through it is whenever I think during the appraisal season, it's usually like the leader. After we compile the results, then we'll meet offline to discuss if you have feedback that's like super concerning. Otherwise, we still communicate it online. I think this goes back to each leader, whether or not they're comfortable at providing feedback. It's difficult to do it face to face. It's more difficult to do it remotely, right? So I think a lot of leaders at Makari now, they are opting to do it offline right now. Onboarding new employees are also difficult. When you come to a new company, you're looking for engagement, right? You're looking for someone who you can rely on, someone who you can connect to. And then if you are doing it online, it's very difficult to do it. I mean, HR can do only as much, right? We try to provide as much help as possible. We even try to assign buddies, which is like some kind of a partner when people comes in and join the company. But then it's still a lot more effective when you actually meet the person, eat lunch with them, hang out with them just a little bit, just to get to know the company, get to know the person, get to know the culture. You don't really talk about that as much when you're remote, right? So that's a challenge. Another thing is monitoring the performance of your team. It's also difficult to track the progress and the productivity. We don't know how they perform their work. We don't know how they get their job done. Assessing their skills is also difficult. Usually if you are like offline, you actually meet the person, okay, he's good at this, he needs improvement in that. When it's online or when it's remote, you only meet during the meeting. When you are not meeting, you don't know like what's going on. You don't know. So that's also a challenge in providing monitoring. I'll talk a little bit later on how to manage the talent remotely, but that's an actual challenge. Okay, cybersecurity. This depends on the industry that you're in. Say if you're in retail or maybe like non-tech industry, I don't think this would be as much threatening. But then if you are in the tech industry and if you are familiar with using your internal network, VPN, etc., etc., this is a challenge because you are using every employee is using their own network. You can put as much security settings as you want in their laptop, but you still cannot guarantee it 100% that it will be safe. So that's one. I know that I've known several people that's working in the bank that they even need to wait for several days to get the VPN from their phone or like from their laptop or mobiles to get installed by the company, and they can only access it using the VPN at home. Um, we talk about overworking and then miscommunications. Like I said previously during the negotiations, if we don't meet with them personally, we are just more prone to communication. It's just how it is, guys. So again, we don't see their face. We don't really know their intonations and their tones. It can lead to miscommunications. Again, lower engagement, personal connection. I think I have received a lot of reports and a lot of feedback from new joiners in my company that they lack personal engagement with their direct report because they start with because they start their working with the work from home situation and work from home setting, and there's really not much a lot of engagement going on. All right, we can go to the next slide. Okay. When we talk about like international recruitment, I think this is just the perspective of how Makari has been doing it. Right now, we are aiming at least two countries, India and Vietnam. About who we are hiring, this could be foreigners who are working outside Indonesia, could be expatriates who are currently working in Indonesia, so in other companies. Then we are, reaching out to them, and then it could also be like Indonesian who are currently overseas. In order to do this, we work with our local and international headhunters as well. But this is before the pandemic. After the pandemic, because we are working like fully remotely, we are mostly doing the hiring with ourselves. I think this is where Check-in will be able to help you guys as well. If you guys ever need any international talents or any talents in general, then you can always reach out to our team at Check-in, and they will be available to help you to hire the right talent for you guys. And then we also revamped the end-to-end hiring process. This is for sure, because I think pre-pandemic, I'll talk about it later, but pre-pandemic, we only have the interview, the online part is only the interview. The rest of it is offline. So from the offering and then signing contract and then onboarding, it's all offline. Only the interview is online. And then once we get into the pandemic season or situation, we do all of them online. So from the very start, HR screening until the end, until the employee joined the company, we were doing it online. We also revamp our policies and revamp our benefit in order to support our employees. First, we have the work from home support initiative, where we actually provide equipment to support everyone's, to support their work from home or to support their remote working. We basically equip them with, like table, chair, headset, anything that can be helpful. And then I think Ocariflex, I already explained it to you guys. So they can basically use the budget to cater to their needs. If they need sports equipment, if they need telemedicine, online groceries, healthy diet catering, that can be always arranged using our product Macariflex. All right, next. Okay, just a little bit of what international recruitment looks like pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. I think pre-pandemic, we do not provide a remote working option for expatriates. So they actually need to move to Indonesia but then they can work from home from time to time. But it's not it's not like they're registered as a remote employee. Now we can work from anywhere. Previously, we only hire certain positions. Now it's all we broaden the range. Even our CTO and then engineering manager. So the ones in the higher positions are expatriates as well. Heavy bureaucracy when it comes to pre-pandemic. I think the team at Techindo can relate a lot with this. You need to prepare the working visa, working permit. You need to provide apartment, allowance, car. If they have children, you need to enroll them in school, etc., etc. Now we cut a lot of that. Not a lot of them, like all of those we cut them because they're still located in their country, so we don't take care of those things. So we just hire them, provide them with a salary, then we're done. No bureaucracy, no administration, nothing. The other thing is, I think I said, I've mentioned this before, the interviews are mostly virtual and then the rest is offline. Now we're doing it all online. And then, yes, because of the heavy bureaucracy, and then we need to provide apartment, the benefit categories are not balanced. Definitely, those international talents are getting a lot more benefit compared to like the local employees. Now we have the same benefit for all employees. And then now we're doing the recruitment independently by Makari. I think previously because we need like a lot of, they need to move here. We need a lot of help from the third party or vendor. Right now we're doing it independently. All right. Moving to how we can expand your team internationally. Next slide. Okay, I think this is the thing that we can that I can share in terms of how we can expand our team or your team using the international recruitment. I think first, I think like Pak Fitvan mentioned, is to understand your need, whether it's the numbers, whether it's the skill, whether it's what you're looking for. You need to really understand it. And then what I recommend is every time you have a new job that you wanted to look for, you need to divide the skills into three parts. What's expiring, what's evolving, what's emerging. What's expiring is the skill that you no longer need. Evolving is the skill that may changes, and then emerging is the skill that you previously don't need, now you need. You need to communicate this to the hiring team or the check-in team, so they can know that what's your most recent need, what's the most relevant to what you're looking for. Then you need to address people's need. Of course, if people, I think a lot of people now are preferring job security instead of like fast movements, especially during these uncertain times, right? What do you sell? What's your employee value proposition? Do you propose flexibility? Do you propose autonomy? Do we go beyond family or beyond employment? Do we provide benefit for families, communities as well? And then we need to prepare. Okay, the thing is, it's not only them that need to prepare to join the company, like the international candidates. It's us that need to prepare, and we need to know if we are ready to welcome them as well. Do we have the tools, all like the teleconferences, cloud-based sharing, the messaging platform, mobile device management? Do we have like all the learning resources ready for them? Languages, cultures, anything? Do we have it ready? Is our team ready? Do they speak English? Do they speak Bahasa? Do they speak all of the languages that we need? Everyone needs to be on board with this. And then HR needs to equip with the new skills as well, because they're doing it like all like virtually, recruitment, offering, onboarding, managing the talents. We're doing it virtually. Are we ready for that? That's the thing that you need to think about. And I think lastly is how you manage your talent remotely. We can move to the next slide. Right. First, I think Pak Firvan also mentioned this, to hire the right candidates. How much guidance do they need to perform the day-to-day job? If they need a lot of guidance, then they might not be the right candidate for you to hire when it comes to if you are preferring to have a distributed workforce, especially remote working, because you will need to be like monitoring them very closely. How do they handle stress? I think this is real. I think I have received at least like this month alone like 3 feedback or 3 report of people like being depressed and getting anxiety attacks. Do we have the right strategy to tackle those? If not, then we really need to think if we want to have like this work setting. background check. We don't know the people that we're hiring. We don't even see them. We don't even see them in person. So we need to make sure that they they don't cause anything. They don't do anything bad outside the company. So background check is also very similar, and then very important as well. And then doing a onboarding, I think several companies are having like video onboarding where like the employee they only like watch it. I don't really recommend that. I recommend a real-time onboarding where you can actually engage with them, because this is like one of the few times we can only engage with them, right? So providing like a real engagement is really important. Do we need to provide office tours? Do we need to set them to have lunch with the key leaders? Do they need some kind of like training? Do they need any other onboarding? Because here at Makari, we don't only have a company onboarding, we have like team onboarding as well. So we have like onboarding on almost every layer. So each employee or each new joiner, they can go through like 2, 3, 4 sessions of onboarding depending on their team. Then provide help, definitely. HR needs to always be available, especially when it comes to a remote work setting. And then also if you can provide a buddy, like I said, or someone that they can reach out to, other than HR, other than their direct report, just to catch up with things, just for them to ask like small questions, quick questions, that will be so super helpful as well. Having aligned goals, I think Pak Fitfan also mentioned this as well. Do we use OKR? Do we use objective key results? Do we use KPI? Is everyone aware not just what they're doing, like the job description that's written, but why they're doing it, like how it's connected to the company, how is their work impacting the company? That increase engagement. Once that's increased, your motivation will be increased. Then they'll get more engaged. That will increase the ownership of them to the company as well and to their job as well. Then they'll give you a better performance. That's how you manage a remote talent. If you don't have it, if you okay, you do this, then you're done. It's not gonna work, guys. They need to know the why they're doing this. And then actively monitor and measure performances. Daily communication is important. You don't really need to communicate them like every single day, but if you are doing like, if you have a messaging platform, that's good to always check in. Hey, if you need any help, please let me know what you're doing right now, what's the progress, etc., etc. And then monitor the progress. Definitely, if you have your goals, I really recommend your goals to be documented. What needs to be done, when's the deadline, what's the steps, and blah 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 blah, as detailed as possible. If you can provide that, and then if you can complete the documentation, that will be very helpful when you do the performance appraisal or performance review. Weekly, bi-weekly, one-on-one session. This is the time for you to actually connect with your team or like your employee. This is where the engagement comes in, right? So make sure you cover all things about the work, and then you talk maybe a little bit just outside the work. That would be helpful as well. Clear career path, of course. I think not having a clear career path can be a lot of demotivation for those who work, even in the company, even if they work from the office, let alone working from home. If they don't know like what's next for me, what's in it for me, it's really hard to get their engagement and their buy-in, guys. So if you do, you want to provide it like based on the reward, so you have like a job grade, benefit grade? Do you want it to provide a career stages or career roles, career path? Do we have the path if they want to be an individual contributor? Do we have the path if they want to be a like a people manager? This is like a whole lot new conversation, guys, but this is just the tip of an iceberg. Definitely having a clear career path communicated to the person, and know like, okay, if this is your target, say you want to be a team leader in the span of 6 months, this is what you need to do: A, B, C, D, E. We need to have it clear for them so they know like what they need to tackle in order to achieve those. Lastly is entertainment, bonding events. Again, this is the only time for you to engage with this remote talents. So definitely having division gathering, maybe team lunch, maybe happy hour, sharing sessions. This is where you can connect. I highly recommend this in order for you to get the engagement and to know them personally. I think that is all that I can share to you guys. If you wanted to know more, definitely reach me out. I can be reached out for my work email or my LinkedIn. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to throw them. We'll talk about this more in the Q&A session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Dianing, for your attractive and insightful presentation and for joining us this morning. To summarize the presentation, I have collected some interested points. The first is there's a phenomenon of shifting jobs description during this pandemic situation, such as like front desk people like shift into people operations. It also happened not only for Makari, I think, but also many companies also having this practice. And also remote work is becoming a new habit and preference in this post-pandemic era for employees or workers. And there are some pros and cons on distributed workforce practice. The benefits are such as market expansion becomes easier to hire local talents who are familiar with the local culture, habit, regulation, etc. And it's also cost and time effective. And there's also like a chance like bigger opportunity to get bigger talent pools, to find most relevant and ideal talents. And also work-life balance becomes more possible when executed properly. And it also has a less office politics. And the challenges, this is the limitation on online communication can be caused from the internet connection and home situation and etc. that can cause issues like decreased communication quality or work effectiveness and hard to monitoring the work progress. Other challenges are cybersecurity, longer working hours, miscommunications, lower engagement or personal connection. For the audience who would like to get the presentation, kindly reach to us after the session is over and we will gladly share it to you. Okay, now for anyone that wants to ask questions to Ibu Dianing, please feel free to write it down in the Q&A chat box. Also, don't forget that anyone who asks a question will have an opportunity to win our door prizes. Okay, moving on to the next presentation, but before going to the second presentation by Pak Teddy, we would like to talk about Cekindo's profile. Cekindo is the Indonesian-born consulting firm that can help with a variety of market entry services. Let's watch a video so you can know a little bit more about Cekindo.
We established Cekindo Business Group as a market entry consulting firm back in 2012 with only 4 employees. And in 2016 we opened our first Cekindo Business Center at Grand City Tower. We doubled our workforce to 80 and moved our head office to Business Park in Kebonjeruk and opened our first branch in town. We relocate our main office in AXA Tower in Kuningan in Jakarta in 2020 and now operating with over 150 employees.
The opening of our Vietnam branch, together with strong presence in the Indonesian market, helped us set our regional footprint, as it was the catalyst to our acquisition by Incorp Group Global Singapore, leading to the establishment of Cekindo Business International.
We strive to be a leading consulting firm of business services for clients, expanding to and operating in Indonesia.
Our set of company values, client orientation, excellence, knowledge, integrity, normative operation standards, delivery on time, and one-stop services, as well as our full range of services, are what I identify as our greatest assets.
When setting up a business or expanding your business into Indonesia, it is important to have someone experienced with the process. Our consultants assist investors and entrepreneurs with tailor-made solutions to the complexity of Indonesian business.
Legal compliance can make or break your business, so it is a highly significant aspect of business operations to have a legal team that is up to date with Indonesian regulations. When it comes to our standards, we always aim to meet national and international legal standards and ensure compliance changes are made in a timely manner.
Any business knows the importance of submitting financial statements and reports to the appropriate institutions and the strict deadline for submission. At Cekindo, we use the latest accounting software and keep clients' financial data secure to assess the best strategies and solutions.
With our wide range of services and experienced team,
We are confident that Cekindo can provide you with high quality of business solutions.
through our constant growth and pool of talent,
We hope to continue making our mark in Indonesia's economy and foreign investment.
We will ensure that your expansion in Indonesia will be as seamless as it can be.
Streamline your first steps into Indonesia
With Check-in Business International.
Okay. Okay, now that you know a little more about Check-indo, let's start another poll before we move on to our next speaker. Please scan the barcode to join the polls on your screen. And the question is, what are the challenges that you as an HR manager or HR practitioners are facing due to the COVID-19 pandemic? Is it maintaining health and well-being? Is it managing remote work? Is it miscommunication, lack of employee engagement, or lack of agility? You can start the poll by now, and I will give you 30 seconds to do the vote. Okay, we received the results. Seems like mostly the most answered are maintaining health and well-being and also lack of employee engagement. These two issues also mentioned by Ibu Dianing before, that lack of employee engagement happened because the limitation of communication during online situation. So thank you for participating in the polling. Let's move to the next session. We will have Pak Teddy Willy leading Check-indo Semarang office as the branch manager. Pak Teddy Willy provides consultations from various perspectives in fields such as manufacturing, trading, and distribution to clients who want to establish companies in Indonesia, particularly Semarang. With 10 years of experience in multinational, national, and local companies, Pak Teddy is familiar with financial and production auditing, sales and marketing, channels and distribution, supply chain management, and human resources. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Pak Teddy Willy. Pak Teddy, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Della. Thank you, Bu Lupita. And yeah, good morning, Pak Fitvan. Thank you for the honor of opening the speaker. And wow, your presentation, Bu Lupita, is very insightful. A lot of insight about the remote working. And before the meeting, I already talked with Bu Lupita and all the Makari do the work from home since 2019. Yeah. So it's quite adaptability. So this is also related to my presentation. So about the reimagining recruitment and talent management. So I'm more like about talking about strategy, operational work post from pandemic. So next slide. Yeah, now we understand that there is maybe everybody know that there is a great resignation nowadays. We have based on that, and the fact that employee leave company, number one is leaving effective, and the funny thing, number one is the first one is boss, and the second job on work satisfaction, culture fit, relationship, etc. And the last one is cannot adaptive in hybrid workplace. And I see some interesting in LinkedIn. Funny thing that someone quote someone, the name is Chris Hare. He said, posting in LinkedIn, and all the people is like it. He said that, hey CEO, every time a competitor mentioned, I read, yeah, every time a competitor mentioned return to the office, our recruiter reach out of their people, yeah, and we hire 50 plus their engineer in the last 2 months. It feels good, it feels funny, it feels sarcasm, but it's true because we cannot adaptive in hybrid workplace and be damaging our organization. and impact and loss, like in the presentation, you can name it. All the business, potential business from departure in the future, and also competitiveness, right? How to replace the successor, right? And then all the damage and a lot of cost of opportunity finding the recruitment. So why I'm raising in this, right? Next slide, please. So I researched about some quite interesting from the Microsoft, that in manual job are more risk, right? In late 19, people we shift from the from manual job into the automation, and now the job shift after 19 and become 2000 shift from to the digital transformation. But the rising for the demand for looking some manual job with a cognitive skill is getting low, but now non-repetitive and high cognitive skill is getting high. This is the most my presentation. I want everybody think about this, and the great lockdown will accelerate digitalization, right? And based on that data, there is potential. This research is in 2020. Yeah. In next 5 years, there is open huge request here, demand for the digital job capacity, about 119 million. All right, and 149 million is related about the software development, cloud computing, and 20 million. And everybody know, guess what? How about the currently supply about this role? Yeah, maybe just guessing, but I just answered that. So the need of the related to IT is about 77%, but currently all the global can provide those candidates only if I do calculation, only 26% from the supply, all those digitalization transformation. So how become the impact of that? Just find those candidates. We must fight each other, very niche, right? And then it just something like just recruiting. How about our department? Just recruiting, we have some challenging, some obstacle, and then how about our department? How about our switch transformation in sales, in finance, to accept of all these challenge? And now in 2022, right? And next three years, everybody wants. I believe that all the business from the company, from any kind of category, any kind of rule will goes to any kind of product or service will goes to all the digitalization. And now we don't have any kind of strategy. While the recruitment this candidate is very limited. So next slide, please. So what keep CEO up night? They cannot sleep. They cannot think right now. Maybe Pak Fitvan also. Sorry, Pak Fitvan. But this is the thing. Managing human capital, which including finding, is number one in the head of the CEO. Finding the candidate, selecting the candidate, managing the candidate, developing the candidate, retaining the talent is all the most significant in all the CEO agree on that. And the second is operating excellence. And the third one is innovation. And in my point number one is managing human capital is most the primary thing by all the leaders, because based on the data, yeah, if I see that 57% from all the global plus CEO thinking that how to attract this recruiting the candidate, how to design post-pandemic workplace, 53% thinking about that, building diversity, and etc. etc. So the talent is number one. and how to recruit it, how to keep maintaining that. One of them said that 80% from the he said that increased flexibility, which is that hybrid working, remote, everything gonna be so digitalization, and then make all of every employee work so easy, and also emphasis about the corporate purpose, like Bu Lupita said, yeah, when the hybrid, we not face each other, so we must have specific goal, specific tracker, what they all the employee do, and how to achieve task hour per hour. Maybe we not control everything. After the meeting, we doesn't know what all the employee do, but we can monitoring what the achievement from the target and current and the actual or the potential or extra initiative. Someone like that. And then the other next slide, please. So I'm just open your mind. Then what we gonna do about that? How about the strategy? Right? Strategy is number one. Strategy come first because we creating position, and then the talent will come to those places. So what about your team? What about your department? Is this what your strategy from your team? What the position will drive all the strategy into the vision of the company? So because in HR there is some triangle. Yeah. One is strategy, one is the other is operation, the other is this administrative. So the operating, strategy, and administration, some related like do some like performance appraisal, payroll, recruiting, and also maybe training. Yeah, all the employee contract, etc., etc. And the strategic is how to improve, empower the employee, how to empower the achievement, the performance. And this is the thing that our as HR practitioner must thinking about that. So what about the strategy? So in next slide, please. Yeah, so every just simple question about the great recruiting plan. Just what about the position that must be clear? What the position criteria are clear, and recruiter are selected and fit, and how to recruit every candidate is from internal and external, or promotion, or maybe doing some outsourcing or something, and where, yeah, and how about the timing? Is this now is now we recruiting now and onboarding and then process the training after the 1 year? How about the knowledge transfer? So if the employees cannot fulfill that, cannot adapt that, and next 25 we're gonna lose of our competitive. So the great strategy for recruiting, we must do something strategic about the recruiting, about how to maintain that. And the next slide, please. Yeah, so every strategy that we need to position are identified about the skill, like I agree with Bu Lupita, yeah, about the what skill right now, how about the skill will evolving, or maybe we not use that skill again, and the other emerging skill, and also the ability, the knowledge, capability, and experience. Is there any special requirement? For example, we need to hire some global, yeah, we prepare everything. Is that we need some expert, and now because in hybrid, expert also can work in overseas, also in Indonesia. All the strategic we must thinking about it, because in recruitment is like a pipeline. Everything strategic will be connected. And the next slide, please. Yeah, and also about the talent supply chain. After we calibrate all the things, skill, job description, experience, everything, capability. So we thinking about it. Is it we need a person that full time, or just temporary staff, or just consulting staff, or maybe job sharing? The other department will be decreased, and we outsourcing about that. I will discuss it later. And also the intern, also the alumni, and also maybe the retired employee, also we can do it to arrange some part of the job. And after that, we selected that full-time employee. If we selected full-time employee, that how do we recruit? From internal team, about the promotion, are the promotion is ready, are the internal department is ready, and the place will be replacing are already, and then how about if not ready, and then we select the external recruiter. And what the external we need to think about it. Confirm, outsourcing, headhunter, and also the global staffing strategic. Because why? Every selection is critical. Every hire employee is based on our strategy execution, and also if it will be costly, because recruiting is just not just payroll, just not the pay the salary, but also preparing the from the posting. Maybe the company will hire other external recruitment, yeah. Also that cost, also the maybe from the internal, about the travel, about the selecting recruitment test, everything, and also the interview, because we are using some hiring manager or user manager to interview the candidate, and then it take that time, and also opportunity loss for using that hiring user manager. And this is also selection is not just selection, but we must to retain it from the onboarding until retain, until performing, and keep retain until promotion. Regarding the strategy. And the next slide, please. Yeah. So what can 4 area skill development by HR professional that I want to share with you guys? First, managing project, right? Have specific goal, clear start to do that, and then about the budgeting. And the second one is managing change, about involving people to change, process the commitment, and also make sure the management exposure. So all the vision, mission, long-term, short-term, strategic, and etc. will full deliver to all the employee. And managing technology. And the other one, this is also interesting that I want to say to you, that HR also managing third party. Not all the duty of the HR we doing internally. So we must manage third party like Makari, like Cekindo. So I want to share you about what the role of HR can be third party. The next slide, please. Yeah, list of function that company using the outsourcing service, for example, recruiting. So using the outsource, and internal HR will be strategic thinking about how to develop the team, how to achieve the goal, how to achieve the competitive, how to be ready for digital transformation, and also about the payroll, outsourcing about that. Finance and accounting, job analysis grading, this is also potential. And compensation of survey, temporary worker, benefit management, training, yeah, most of company also using this, and auditing and legal drafting, for example, like that. And next slide, please. Yeah, this is also the part of Cekindo. Cekindo can provide of all the business process outsourcing, from the accounting, payroll, recruitment. We have a recruitment service here, or headhunter, people say that, and also in my team. And also about job grading, also we can provide it, and also about audit, about the finance, accounting, etc., etc., and legal, immigration also we cannot help. So Check-Indo also provide a one-stop solution, same like Metari. And this is also important because as SR, we must manage the third party. Next slide, please. So how about the strategy? How about the strategic piece? First one, I would like to share you that formulating the strategic. So we see that every company have vision and mission, standard, everything. Every company have vision and mission and company culture. So, and the second is developing strategy. I just don't want to share some hard strategic, just simple SWOT analysis. Everybody know that. SWOT analysis, and I will share you how about the example, and selecting the long-term strategy, and also design strategic achievement. And the third one is how about the follow-up, the strategic that already developed in the second stage. And then we selected the short-term strategy, development, planning, and achievement. And the fourth, we will strategic evaluation. And this is important because to achieve that, to achieve the challenge that in next three years that digital is coming, like or not, we must arrange this strategy from now on. So this is something that example that I want to share to you. That next slide, please. For example, I just share just one kind of the strategic that for the HR. I just share about the developing the team, but there is many examples. For example, that PT Tonic Star, let's say like that have vision, very good vision that in 5 years the company will become most priority choice and most competitive product in accounting and software. Now this PT Tonic Star have good product service about accounting, but installing in every kind of device. And the mission become the provider that trusts the innovative solution for the global accounting service and industry. The values of the company or company culture, we adapt innovation, right? And supporting, embrace the employee creativity and always support and collaboration then each employee, full employee to make change development. From this vision and mission, as HR, we just thinking that how to achieve the vision and mission and break down from the long term and short term. In the next slide, please. So we are making some SWOT analysis about that. So SWOT analysis is just divided by this step that internal organization is we do some analysis about the strength and weakness, and for external organization is about opportunity and threat. For example, this Tony Stark, one, the strength our company will be market leader for software accounting. All the employee is creativity and support by management is creativity. But the weakness is uncontrolled growth, organization size 50% per year. But opposite of that, learning curve of the new employee almost 1 year. This is the risk of the internal organization. And less experience in international exposure client because we only install and promote locally. And external organization, we thinking that many potential international market not being expand. This is also opportunity. Then other organization request to merger and web-based. Maybe for this example that web-based, maybe now is more digital mobile or maybe cloud, something like that, or SaaS service like that. And this Tony Stark is struggling on that. And then the threat at the competitor penetrate web-based technology and major market in local assistant. So what as HR do about it is more important best rather than just thinking operation. So this is the thing that I want to raise you guys, that from the simple analysis by SWOT, we can do something like this. Next slide, please. setting the short term and long term. Yeah. For example, these 3 years, after the 3 years, company can provide web-based technology, high quality, innovative for and high values. And the short term is we thinking about the short term, because in long term and per year we thinking about it. In 6 months, what we gonna do about it? Yeah, we will train our 60 programmer to learn about Java programming, maybe cloud computing, etc., etc., to develop this, to develop the competition and to catch up the opportunity. The action plan that we as HR gathering all the department that, and also make a strategy that, oh, is that we need internally or using some vendor, or maybe select, if using some vendor, how about the vendor? How about the selecting vendor? How about the class scheduling? How about developing the new product of Java programming and other web-based web-based cloud, something like that? Yeah, it is just an example. And how about the budget, right? About the budget that, oh yeah, 60 programming will be coached by two coaching, and then after this 60 programming are pass the training, and then can develop, can transfer the knowledge to other. And then about the budget, maybe for this example that 15,000 service, we outsourcing the development to the vendor, and also physical are we doing in class or out class. In this example, I make it in class. And also the technical about the classroom, is it ready or not, right? And then after that, after the short time, we analyze about the strategic. Is that analyze again about the, is that all the 60 of programmer already have good knowledge about Java programming, already development, if successful, and then what the next? Because this is 6 months, and the next 6 months, what the next coming about the new participant, and also what the real case about developing from the internal programming until the web-based cloud system, for example, like that. As the HR, we must thinking about that, and then after the evaluate the strategic, and then we do SWOT analysis. Is that now the SWOT analysis internal is different from the strength, from the weakness, and how about the opportunity? Are we got the international exposure? Oh yeah, we got international client, but we more gathered. So we must developing something in digital marketing, for example, to develop it, because we are ready from the product. So this is kind of strategic that HR need to thinking about it for this post-pandemic. And also this is also the just example about the training, yeah. But about the recruiting, there is some development we need to thinking about it, and then also about the, like I said before, yeah, to facing the new digital transformation. How about the department? How about the all from production, from supply chain, from any kind of operation? Are we ready about that? As the HR, we are maintain the change management, so we need to collaborate to each department that what can we do about it to support to this challenge, because like or not like, after this post-pandemic, we must do some strategic thinking rather than work as usual and just thinking about operation and administrative. So that's why like Makari can support all the company, also the Chekindo can support all any kind of business process outsourcing, also the recruitment from the talent, all the talent, and we also have good experience onboarding any candidate, especially in IT, mining and oil gas, and etc. And the rest of them, I already mentioned, yeah, we can support about the legal, we can support about business setup, and add other service that we are one-stop solution. So I think that's pretty much it. So thank you. And if there is some question and answer, yeah, you can reach out me by email me, teddywilly@checkindo.com. Also reach out me in my LinkedIn, also my name. My LinkedIn also Teddy Willy. And yeah, that's all about the presentation that I am sharing. Maybe there is some question and question from participant. So thank you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Teddy, for your insightful presentation. And here are some interesting points that I would like to summarize from Pak Teddy's presentation. There are 5 elements of recruiting plan. First is who, the positions or titles are clear. This is for the roles. And then what, the criteria of the positions are clear. And how, the recruiters are selected and fit, the decision maker is clear and ambiguous. Where, sources are outlined. And when, time plan is set and stated. These are the first steps on recruiting the ideal talents. And then move on how to develop the employee skills through. First is managing projects, and then second is managing changes, and then managing technology, and the last is managing third parties. Okay, now the time is open to our Q&A session. I already seen 2 questions inside the Q&A chat box. Okay, I will, let's move to the first question. Is for Budianing. How do companies need to evolve in terms of recruitment when it comes to evaluating candidate skill sets as based on our experience? Deciding what skills to look for and how to test the candidate for those skills is not always evident. Yeah, Bu Dianing, the time is yours.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tianji. I hope I say your name right. I'm really sorry if I butchered the name, but thank you so much for the question. This is a very good question. Actually, I think we at Makari has been evolving a couple of times in terms of how do we evaluate candidates. I think this is based on the position that you're looking for. I think what's best is to actually as much as we can, we try to get a glimpse of how they are trying to get the job done. This can be done via if you give them a case study, or like if this is like a technical position. We usually at Makari we have like a pair coding session where an actual engineer from Makari and the candidate, they get into a session and they do like a pair coding. Then there you can evaluate the skills as well. And then another is we use a third platform that assess candidates' overall skills. Now, right now we are using what we call as iMocha. You can actually go in there and and then find what position you're looking for, and then find like the most suitable set tests that can be tested to the candidates. We have found that very efficient for us because they already have the set of questions that correctly measure the skill that we're looking for. Another thing is this is not yet implemented in Makari, but we're in talks of it. We are trying to implement what it's called. I think it's either called like a trial day. So whenever like you have if you have gone through an interview, the last step would be actually joining the company for 1 day. Now, please bear in mind this will be costly because the candidate will need to take a leave for 1 day and then actually like get into the company, meet the people, work on a certain project that you guys are working on, meet the stakeholders, so everyone can evaluate them whether or not they'll be suitable for the company. I think this is very effective, but also like very costly. Just something to keep in your mind. Maybe you want to implement that, that'll be great. But I think I've seen several companies. If you've heard about Zendit, I know Zendit implemented that, and then they're doing it remotely, so it's not like super costly from the I think like office or like the company side. But I think from the candidate side, they really still need to take 1 day leave. But I think that's a very efficient way for you to actually like evaluate the candidates and their skill set. I think that's what I have so far. Pak Teddy, do you have any other insight for that?
Yeah, about the recruitment, evaluating the candidate per skill set. So most of time that when we try to connect with some like for example that my experience, yeah, handling with a client about external recruitment, then I just not say that this is a job ATD, this is a job description, yeah, and what they do, role and responsibility. But sometimes that as the recruiter, we just thinking that most of company thinking that how to survive, how to win the competitor. So I just thinking about what the successful of the is that this is a new role or replacing some candidate, for example. Oh yeah, this is replacing from some candidate. Okay, for replacing the candidate, what kind of specific the skill that that candidate already success in the current role, then about the next recruitment candidate, so we can mirroring those candidates while shortlisting the candidate. Yeah, maybe they have specific skill, and the other that what is your competitor? Most of time like that. I'm thinking about that because sometimes we thinking about, oh yeah, we do the different on only specific in department, but okay, this is a competitor. For example, just I need some sales engineer. This is the company from the maybe for example telecommunication, and who is your telecommunication? Yeah, all the telecommunication. But I think that to you support to your customer. Every company have support to the customer. Yeah, and what your customer? Customer maybe for example the oil gas. So sometimes we thinking about the recruitment is not only specific, just thinking about same the telecommunication, but maybe some other guys from the other industry that related to the oil gas, maybe from the purchasing officer, but have a good knowledge, have good communication, and most of the time we thinking about the knowledge, right, the technical skill, but the most of all the companies struggle that soft skill, how they communicate, how they can negotiate, how they can approach each other, how about the problem solving, for example, that. And during the interview, we doing some interview, behavioral interview, and the second, like Bu Lupita said that there is some specific skill test that we use, for example. It's just not all the psychology test, but maybe just for example, like sales, sometimes I just interview the candidate and then do some role play. Oh yes, we can understand that how they, oh yeah, they can do the role play. Maybe for the IT we can do hacker rank test, or maybe like Bu Lupita, for example, like that. So we must do some specific, not just read the job description, and also look what the pain of the company. Company wants growth, one facing the competitor, one engage with the customer. So three of these this the thing that I most look in depth of that. That my answer.
Okay, thank you, Pak Teddy and Bu Dianing. Let's move to the next question. It might be best addressed to Bu Dianing from Arthur Emmanuel. We are planning on hiring someone who currently lives in the UK. There is a 7-hour difference between London and Jakarta. How can companies deal with the difference in time zones and make sure that it doesn't affect company performance? Yeah,
Okay.
Bu Dianing.
Thank you so much, Stella, and thank you, Mr. Arthur, for the question. I wish I could provide you a more solid answer, but unfortunately, when it comes to time difference, I think it comes down to commitment, and then what we can give as in the company for them to actually stick to the commitment. You know, like what do we provide as a company in order for them to all for the entire company to adjust to his schedule in London in order to make this work. I think what's best is to have him to adjust to adjust to your company schedule. If you are having a one-on-one meeting, then maybe we can work differently. Maybe like the company side can adjust to the candidate's schedule or like the candidate's time zone in London. But then other than that, I think the person in London needs to be very committed in terms of time, and then how can we compensate that? I mean, I think during the because I experienced this firsthand, because when I work in Tokopedia, I work from the US, and I literally work at 2 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer, but then it is what it is. It is what happened. It is what needs to be done. If the company can compensate that, let's like say like, okay, I know that you are having to wake up like in the ungodly hours in order for you to be able to have a meeting with us, etc., etc., and in order for you to just perform your job overall. But if you done this, then we're willing to give you either a promotion or like a like give you a higher salary range, because he has to like switch his time zone entirely in order to be cooperative with the Indonesia schedule. I think that's one of the things that we can do. I think that's my answer, Della. That's what has been going on and what has been implemented in Makari as well.
Okay, seems like there should be like agreement between the employee and the company. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you, Budianing. Hopefully that can be give another perspective, yeah, for Pak Arthur. And then move on to the next question from Ibu Yumna Sofyan. This is for Pak Teddy. Sometimes engaging with employees is much harder than recruiting them. As you mentioned, there are many factors that cause turnover. If the problem is on the company side, what would you do to solve it? And Pak Teddy, the time is yours.
Yeah, yeah, this is also interesting. Yeah, but my answer just like a simple, like if I thinking about as my experience in production, there is some supply, input, process, and output. I just thinking like that. So if we find some good candidate and then goes onboarding in company, like say like that, and the 3 months is very critical, very critical. I believe that some company, I also have experience on that, yeah, because this is junior. When I do this experience, I do this job, I learn it by myself, and then yeah, you doing by yourself like that. But the onboarding is just not my crucial is onboarding. Yeah. Onboarding is not is crucial for me, because not just sign the employee contract and then yeah, this is your job description, fine, and then it goes. They do about this because I do in previously I do it like that. But in onboarding we must have a specific. In first month we thinking about what they do in first week. We engage everything from the tracker, and also is there any particular knowledge that I need to from the leader need to transfer. And as the leader we must be open-minded, because we challenge the competitor is outside the company, not inside. So some leader is thinking that, oh, I want to keep my knowledge, so I am thinking about that I think more better than my coworker, but my subordinate. Yeah. But this is not that way. Our face enemy is not internal, but our competitor. So my thinking that why I'm not developing this totally, and then after that, in first month there is some feedback, yeah, review and feedback that yeah, what during in 1 month what new employee have adapt or have a specific skill they already gathering from this. And then the next 2 months, the 3, and then the next 3 months, because 3 months is very fragile, yeah, for new employee. And after that, then the processing within 1 year, and then they can survive. And also I have a specific quote, yeah, my previous boss, that what I'm afraid to promote some role from some let's say that from specialist until to supervisor. The thing that I afraid, this is my previous boss said to me, that it's not this person is capable about the next one. But sometimes this person still think about the current debt, still worry about that, still not let it go about that, and then, but the truth that they have a real challenge in that new skill. So that's why sometimes that company that decide that, oh, I'm not do some promotion because they're afraid of the yeah, maybe the CEO, maybe the owner, that when this come, they always thinking about the department. And that's why, what's the problem? The problem go back like it, go back again then in the onboarding, and also the process transfer knowledge, process the learning management, and also about the training. Sometimes the training is working, but and also we need to consider about benchmarking. Benchmarking is do a real job but switch to other department, and maybe other, for example that, for example this for example some auditor, yeah, auditor in company can switch to other company in some same group. This is more better, and I believe that if the knowledge is gathering from the candidate, in from the supply is good, the input is good, I believe they can survive in processing, and the output is they retain and keep fairness, yeah, the empower the performance, and also support them about the real career path, the real performance, real evaluation. So that's my answer. Yeah, maybe Bu Lupita wants to add some more.
Yeah, I think on top of what Pak Teddy has shared, I think the importance is to get the buy-in from the management level. I think anything that you're implementing is really important for you to start, top down when it comes to like this issues. So you need to get the management level on board with you in terms of whatever initiative that you're implementing, and then I think it's a lot easier for you to manage the middle managers once the management level has agreed. So the direction doesn't have to come from you. So you can talk with the say like C level. This is what we call in Makari, talk to the C level, and then they will cascade the instruction to the middle managers, and then from there we can start with making the improvements. So I think on top of whatever Patadi has advised, I would suggest to involve the C level, involve the management level, get their buy-ins so that you can get the buy-in from the middle manager easier.
Okay, thank you, Pak Teddy and Bu Dianing. Let's move to the last question. This is for Pak Teddy, but Bu Dianing or Bu Lupita may also give opinion later. It's from Bu Elsa Ajarwati. I agree with you that losing employees will be a huge loss for the company, but sometimes I see several big companies have a very high employee turnover. However, they still manage to grow the company even bigger. What's your thought on this case? We can start from Pak Teddy.
Yeah, I think my opinion same like that. As simple that I thinking that just supply input, process output, and the most thing about the onboarding, because I believe that all the HR I read about all any kind of article that they thinking so much about the onboarding, right? And also the diversity, and so all the manager thinking that objectively, not subjectively, and also about the turnover. Yeah, this is the problem, because as my experience, yeah, during I'm work from the beginning until now became manager, the struggle from the junior into the get specific knowledge, specific skill, get specific opportunity is the manager is not open minded to what the idea of the team, and what the improve any kind. Then some, and I think about the turnover also. I read, yeah, quite interesting, yeah, interesting about the some article that there is some some candidate that silver spoon and also the sprinkle. Sometimes they thinking that the candidate is good in education, is good in whatever, yeah, in CV, have a good certificate, have a good communication, and the other is someone have disadvantage, maybe the quality, the university, or maybe the experience is from that and from the family, but they struggle. And I see that quite interesting that the sprinkle is more survivors because they have a competitive hard worker and facing the challenge, and most of the talent acquisition that not thinking about that, and also to manage the turnover, also keep sharing, I think, yeah, keep sharing about, hey, this is the vision of the C-level, this is the vision of my supervisor, and not just uh, if there's some complaint from the C-level and then to directly to the employee, but we must filtering them by the good communication, yeah, what the employee will our subordinate will receive that, but as long as related to the purpose of the target of the maybe the C-level, and then I believe that it will be retained, yeah, about the employee. And most of time I think onboarding is, I think, my answer, the best critical about to handle the turnover and benefit, yeah, also benefit beside the salary, benefit is also can retain the employee.
Okay, thank you, Pak Teddy. Bu Dianing, maybe have a thought about the case from the question?
Yeah, I think I've seen this type of cases mostly in big companies, where they keep having new people come in, but then they keep growing as well. Now, I think as much as they can grow, this is still a very painful process, especially for the existing employees. Imagine having to onboard new people every single day, not every single day, probably like every single week, and teaching them new things, only to have them leaving. Now, I think HR won't be the first group of people to notice this. This would be like the managers. I think once they see like the painful process, um, they will be able to raise it to whoever. It could be the management, it could be anyone, and then from there, we can start. We can start making improvements. But what I think the key message is when this phenomenon may happen, it's super not sustainable, and it's a very painful process inside, because you need to keep like teaching the new people new stuff, maybe only to have them stay for like 3 4 5 months and then leaving. I think that's what I would have to say.
Okay, that will be the end of the Q&A session. Thank you so much, Bu Dianing and Pak Teddy, for the answers. Hopefully, we get the insightful sessions webinar today. Before we close this session, I would like to announce the winner of the Q&A. So we have selected, first is Mr. Tian Ki. I hope I correct spelling the name, Mr. Tian Ki, and then Mr. Arthur and Ibu Yumna. Congratulations. Our team will reach out to you after the session end. And to commemorate this session, let's have a photo session before we end this webinar. Please open your camera so we can screenshot and have a photo session together. Okay. It's all done. Okay, Dira, is it done? Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining today's webinar. So stay tuned for our next webinar in our Indonesia 5.0 session, Navigating Through Business Expansion series in Q2 of 2022. And with this, I'd like to mark the end of today's session. Thank you for participating. And have a nice day. See you again next time. Thank you, Bu Dianing. Thank you, Pak
Thank you,
Teddy.
Bu Dianing, Pak Teddy, Bella.
Thank you, Pak Rifan, Pak
Thank
Teddy.
you, Bella.
Thank you, Della.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.